Thanks, Anna. Good afternoon to all. Today I'm going to speak about digitization and innovation. When a chartered accountant comes and talks about innovation and digitization, many would believe that I'm going to talk about innovative ways of accounting and it would result in frauds. Okay? So if you are thinking that I'm going to speak about Satyam computers or Enron, please change your mind. See, innovation is usually associated with automobiles, consumer electronics, mobile phones, where new models pop up with alarming frequency. Honestly, banking is not associated with innovation, more of digitization. Let's look at technological innovations which have changed the way of living. Okay? See, when I came here, I realized, morning I came, and most of the subjects what I wanted to talk about, people have already covered. Then I was looking at the crowd, I thought it's more of students, academicians, and government people. So I thought of delivering an extempore lecture, mainly to talk about how the innovations have disrupted the industry and what the companies should have done, which they did not do. As a result, they were extinct. So I'll talk about practical examples. We all know when we had the black and white television sets, there were certain market leaders, Dianora, Solidar, etc. And when that segment was changed from black and white to color television, the same set of people, they did not become the market leaders, but the new players emerged. And when they were inventing on using the curved cathode ray tube to flat screen, etc., the LCD has come, the new set of players have emerged. As a result, the old players have become extinct and redundant. You realize that? So, this is called disruptive innovations. Innovations start, the companies start investing the money in certain innovations, and someone is investing money in some other product, and as a result, complete disruption happens and the company is extinct. And recently, the e-commerce space. Landmark was opening various branches, and Odyssey and all the retail bookstores were going, more and more branches they were opening, and suddenly they realized that e-commerce have come, it changed the way the customers perceive, and then what happened, once the advent of Amazon and Flipkart, the retail stores were in a big question mark, and then they have started closing down the business because the e-commerce have taken. So this is another disruptive innovation which was aided by digitization, and then what happened to the business which did not they're resilient enough to bounce back, they have to go out of business. There are multiple examples. We had motorcycle segments in 83, 84 and all. Before the advent of Japanese motorcycles, we had only 3 models available. And then when Enfield was investing into color television, in Suzuki came, and then all Japanese technology invaded, and then the motorcycle segments have undergone a change. Correct? We can go on and giving examples. There were a lot of electrical companies. I worked for Crompton Greaves for 8 years. So I'm very passionate about the electrical engineering company. And last 4 or 5 years, we have been seeing the emergence of various companies which produce inverters. Correct? If you look at who are the market leaders for inverters, you would find that none of the electrical manufacturing companies which are leading, they are not there. So who is the market leader? Luminous or Sucam or Microtech, all of them are new players. And e-commerce, again, Wikipedia came, and Encyclopedia Britannica. How many of you know that it is 330 years it is in publication? They have closed the business because of Wikipedia. This is what is called disruptive innovations. Somewhere someone starts, and then it goes and disrupts the business model and completely transforms the way. Even very recently, we have seen 3 years back when WhatsApp was introduced, a couple of people started using, and then gradually it grew. Now in every smartphone has got a WhatsApp, and then it affects the revenue model. They started talking about net neutrality, etc. So these are the things which you, as a student, you should find out that yes, companies have become complacent. When they are investing money, the R&D department looks at their own products. They don't look at what is happening outside. Suddenly when something else comes up, then the companies don't know how to conduct. And morning, when John was talking about, out of Fortune 500 companies, 89% did not last for a period of 30 years. So as a students, my request is, think innovation that should be out of box, that should come and it should enter and then displace the existing player. And all these innovations, if you look at it, it all started at a very, very small way, and then it went on to become a major hit. And nowadays, you find we communicate through WhatsApp and messengers, and we use the gadgets, listen to music in MP3, socialize through Facebook, and catch up favorite programs on YouTube. You find everything is available. And how many of them are made in India? How many of those programs or gadgets or the products invented by Indians for which you don't pay royalty? This is what is the thought process you should have. So my view is that, yes, the companies invest a lot of money in R&D, but the R&D people, again, they put their energy in their own products rather than products which are outside. So as a students, when you think about innovation, there is enough opportunity for you if you think out of box. Now I come to banking. In banking is a completely regulated market. It's a very, very difficult for a banker to change it because banking uses public money. In 2008, there was a big crisis, you all know. And many foreign governments, Britain and US governments, went on to fund the banking sector when they were making losses. Many from the manufacturing have questioned, why should government fund the banking sector when it is making loss? Correct? So if you think it, because bankers use the public money, they can't let the bank fail. So the capital has to come. So if you consider automobile industry as a right hand and pharmaceutical as a left hand, banking is like a blood. So it's very difficult to bring innovation in banking. That's one of the reasons, if you look at last 100 years, so many companies have existed and went out of the market, but the bankers would continue. Citibank celebrating 200 years, Standard Chartered 160 years. So bankers remain, but the products, what they introduce to the customers is completely transforming. So this is where the digitization comes into picture. We all have got a savings bank account. How many of us were going to the branches, transacting with the bank and issuing check leaves, and we used to get a checkbook containing 25 leaves, etc. Now, when did you last receive the checkbook? Many would not immediately recollect because now the payments are happening through online payments, credit card payments, debit card payments, and then you do entire transaction, banking transaction through your mobile apps, internet. Many of you would not have even visited the bank. And bank also, many have stopped issuing statements because it's all available through internet. So what we say in digitization is automate, industrialize, build end-to-end straight-through processing capabilities to establish globally resilient, automated, standardized platform to underpin the future growth. This is what we bank mean by digitization. The migration of banking transaction and customers from branches to mobile phone and to internet promises to transform just the ways people bank with. So completely the internet has transformed the way. Okay. So with this, I've got a couple of questions, and probably as an professors, you should help me to answer that. The first one is about how many of us inculcate if a student is ready to spend their time in research and to become a scientist. How many of us have seen a wedding card where the bride or bridegroom is a scientist? So if for innovation, you have to have a research. Do we have the right mechanism for doing the research? Do we inculcate? Do we celebrate our failures? So these are all the questions which should reflect. Another point which I would like to emphasize here is government is insisting on, even for CSR, they say certain amount of fund has to be spent by the companies on CSR activities, but the government is not mandating that each company out of its revenue should spend certain portion for R&D. If they mandate, then the R&D companies can emerge, they can get funding. See, if you reflect the last 300 years, whatever we use, whether it is televisions, air conditioners, cameras, everything is invented by Western Europe. Here we are talking of Make in India. So it's not going to help if we keep talking about Make in India without realizing the ground reality that in 300 years what we have not achieved, we are going to achieve in the future just by asking the experts to come back. Will it help? It might not help. So what should we do? What is the reason for India's lack of ability to create various products? If one analyzes, what comes to my mind is the lack of capital. People cannot sustain the social security around people to get into a research as a profession. That's not going to happen. So in Western Europe, yes, it was available. Social security was available, so they could invent a lot of products, and then we have started using it. If we have to get into that culture, definitely we need funding from government, and the government funding only will help in each one choosing a career in research. Another aspect is about software companies. Last 20 years have been making huge amount of money. World's money was coming into the software companies. As of now, how many of the products we have got which bear the Indian software company name in many of the applications? We are doing a lot of digitization, but in a big name, do we have anything? When WhatsApp was created by an American company, immediately China has got their own equivalent of WhatsApp. Japan has got their own equivalent of WhatsApp, Line, WeChat, Telegram, etc. But India have not got one which is internal to India. Yeah, Indians who have invented it. Therefore, my request to students is that there is a tremendous opportunity to get into innovation, research, and request government and other bodies to make a funding so that we truly believe in Make in India. The dream to happen, I think it's in our hands. With that, I conclude my speech. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Krishna Kumar. That was very nice. So there is a real clear signal from your side that academia must encourage research. There must be a sea change in the system so that research becomes mainstream rather than people worrying about their daily life. Fine. Thank you.